Let me hit you with a strange thought. What if the reason you feel weak isn't your job, your anxiety, your lack of confidence, or the fact that you've been starting tomorrow since 2019? What if the real reason is your father? Yeah, I know, sounds dramatic. But think about it. Every time you try to speak up, make a bold decision, take a risk, or even just be yourself, something inside you freezes. It's like your body remembers a rulebook you don't remember reading. A rulebook written years ago by someone who didn't even realize they were writing it. This isn't a blame game. It's a truth game. And once you hear it, everything about your weakness will suddenly make sense. Tell me if this sounds like your everyday life. You wake up, look in the mirror, and think, okay, today I'm going to be confident. And for the first 10 minutes, you actually believe it. Then life happens. You walk into a room, and suddenly your shoulders shrink. Someone asks for your opinion, and your brain starts buffering like a cheap Wi-Fi router. You want to speak, but your voice is like, no thanks, we're shy today. Or maybe you're trying to make a big decision, switching careers, starting something new, telling someone how you really feel, and suddenly you're hit with this wave of hesitation. Not fear exactly, more like a ghost of fear, a heaviness in the chest, a tiny whisper that says, don't mess this up. You hate it, but you know it's there. You see people your age making bold moves, posting their W's on Instagram, starting businesses, traveling alone, speaking their minds. Meanwhile, you're still overthinking a simple text message because you don't want to sound stupid. And the worst part? You know you're capable. You know you're smart. You know you could do more, a lot more, if this invisible hand would stop pulling the brakes every time you try to accelerate. Sometimes you even get angry at yourself. Why am I like this? Why can't I just be confident like normal people? Why do small things feel like such a big deal? And there's this deeper frustration, the kind you don't even say out loud, where you feel like you're living life at 40% of your potential. If any of that hits a little too close to home, congratulations. You're in the exact right video. And you're about to understand why you've felt this way for so long. Here's the funny part. Most people try to fix their confidence the same way they try to fix their old phone, by pressing random buttons and hoping something magically works. You feel weak. Cool. Let's wake up at 4 a.m., buy a new notebook, drink black coffee, and pretend we're characters in a productivity documentary. Because obviously, confidence comes from abusing your sleep schedule, right? Or you try the instant bravery strategy, watching a 2-hour motivational video where a guy screams, believe in yourself, through a microphone that's surely suffering. For 10 minutes after that, you feel unstoppable. You're like, yes, I am the main character. Then someone asks you to make a phone call, and your entire personality collapses. Some people go the fake it till you break it route. You copy confident people. You try to walk like them, talk like them, breathe like them. Next thing you know, you're acting like a discount version of someone else, and it feels painfully unnatural, like wearing shoes that are obviously not your size, but you insist they're fine. Then there's the achievement chasers. You think, once I get a better job, or a better body, or better grades, then I'll feel confident. So you work harder, do more, collect accomplishments like Pokemon cards, and still feel like a nervous intern on the inside. Why? Because confidence doesn't come from things. It comes from your emotional wiring, from the rules your brain follows automatically. But everybody keeps trying to fix an internal problem with external tools. It's like trying to repair emotional trauma using a Canva quote. Cute, but useless. And here's the biggest mistake. People think their fear is about the present moment. Like, I'm scared of speaking up because the situation is intense. No, you're scared because your body remembers what used to happen when you spoke up. Your mind isn't reacting to now, it's reacting to then. Most self-help advice fails because it assumes you're starting at zero. But you're starting with years of emotional conditioning, old reactions, old punishments, old patterns. You're not weak. You're following outdated rules. And once we look at where those rules came from, everything starts to make sense. When you say you want confidence, independence, discipline, or a life that actually feels like your life, you're not really talking about productivity hacks or morning routines. Deep down, you're asking for something much simpler and way more emotional. You're asking for permission. Permission to make decisions without guilt. Permission to try things without feeling stupid. Permission to fail without feeling like you've disappointed someone. Permission to be yourself without constantly worrying. Is this okay? You're not chasing achievements. You're chasing a feeling. The feeling of being safe inside your own choices. Because for many of us, growing up meant this. Stay in line. Don't make mistakes. Don't embarrass anyone. Do the right thing always. So now, as an adult, the goal isn't success. It's freedom. You want emotional independence, the ability to trust yourself, rely on yourself, and not fear your own decisions. That's the real desire behind confidence. Not perfection, not strength, just freedom. The core truth. Confidence is not something you build. It is something you stop destroying. Most people think confidence comes from adding new habits, new affirmations, new skills, new routines, new personality upgrades, basically turning themselves into a version 2.0 human. But confidence isn't created by addition. It's created by subtraction. Confidence shows up naturally when you remove the fear, guilt, overthinking, pressure, comparisons, and self-judgment that suffocate your natural self. Think about a child. A child doesn't wake up thinking, what if people judge me? What if I'm not enough? What if I fail? They just exist freely. They sing badly, laugh loudly, try new things, fall, get up, and move on. That natural freedom is confidence. We weren't born insecure, we were taught insecurity. So the core principle is this. Confidence is your default. Insecurity is the learned response. If it was learned, it can be unlearned. And here's the liberating part. You don't have to transform into a new person. You just have to clear the mental noise that keeps the real you buried. Let's break this down. You don't lack confidence. You lack self-permission. Most people don't fail because they're not confident. They fail because they don't give themselves permission to act, to try, to speak, to choose, or to simply exist without overthinking. Every time you want to do something, you run it through 10 invisible filters. Will people approve? Will this look stupid? What if I'm wrong? What will they think? Who am I to do this? By the time your mind finishes processing, the moment has passed. This isn't a confidence problem. It's an over-permission problem. You keep waiting for someone else to validate your decisions. The core insight is, confidence comes from internal permission, not external approval. You're confident in the areas where you don't self-judge. Think about something small you do confidently. Tying your shoes, making tea, texting your best friend, playing your favorite song, cracking a joke with someone familiar. You don't hesitate, think, or rehearse those things. Why? Not because you're gifted at them, but because you don't judge yourself while doing them. The absence of self-judgment creates effortless confidence. If you applied the same attitude to bigger decisions, career, relationships, goals, you'd be unstoppable. The principle is, confidence equals action without self-attack. Remove the attack, and action becomes natural. Confidence is not a feeling, it is a repeated behavior. People wait for a magical feeling to descend on them before acting. I'll do it when I feel confident. Spoiler, you won't. Confidence appears after you act, not before. When you're new at anything, you're supposed to be awkward. You're supposed to make mistakes. You're supposed to feel unsure. Confidence is just the reward for surviving the discomfort. The formula is simple. Do, survive, repeat, build trust in yourself. Confidence is just self-trust repeated across time. Your brain exaggerates risks and underestimates your abilities. Your brain is wired for survival, not happiness. That means it reacts to emotional risk, embarrassment, judgment, disapproval, as if it were a physical danger. That's why something as small as sending a message, starting a project, or speaking your opinion can feel terrifying. Your brain whispers lies like, this will end badly. They'll judge you. You're not ready. But 90% of the fear is imaginary. And 90% of confidence is simply learning not to believe your fear's first reaction. The principle is, confidence grows when you stop obeying fear like it's a fact. Confidence comes from identity, not techniques. Most people follow confidence tips like, stand straight, speak loudly, make eye contact, affirm yourself, boost your mindset. These can help, but they're surface level. True confidence comes from a deeper identity shift. I trust myself. I choose myself. I back myself. When you adopt this inner stance, your behavior automatically changes. You don't have to fake anything. You simply operate from certainty instead of fear. 6. Confidence is choosing yourself, even when others don't. The real turning point happens when you stop asking, will they like it? And start asking, do I like it? Confidence means, You approve yourself. You validate yourself. You support yourself. You stand with yourself even when others don't clap. And when you do that, you become unstoppable. Because the world can only intimidate you when you depend on it for permission. You're sitting on your bed late at night with your phone in your hand. You've just watched a short, powerful video about confidence. Maybe the exact kind you want to create someday. And you feel that spark. That little fire inside you whispers, "Yar, I can do this. I want to do this." So you open your notes app. You type a title, Video Idea 1. For a moment, it feels exciting. You can picture the whole video, the message, the impact. A tiny part of you actually feels proud. Then your brain wakes up. Suddenly a flood of thoughts hits you like a notification tsunami. What if people make fun of me? What if my voice sounds weird? What if nobody watches? What if I mess up? What if I fail publicly? What if this is stupid? The excitement disappears. Your chest tightens. Your fingers freeze. You start editing the title, then deleting it, then rewriting it, then deleting the whole thing because now it sounds cringe. All right, enough talking. Let's actually do something. Here's a simple, practical way to stop letting old patterns, those rules your brain learned from childhood, control your confidence. Step 1. Identify the trigger. Next time you freeze, hesitate, or overthink, pause and ask, am I scared of the present situation or an old memory of fear? Notice the difference. This awareness alone reduces the power of the fear. Step 2. Give yourself permission. Say it out loud. I'm allowed to do this. I can speak, act, or choose freely, even if it feels silly at first. You're literally retraining your brain to obey you, not some ghost from the past. Step 3. Take tiny, safe risks. Start small. Do things your childhood self would have hesitated to do. Share an opinion in a group. Send a message you've been delaying. Start a mini project. These micro steps teach your brain, I can survive uncertainty. Step 4. Redefine mistakes. Your father may have reacted strongly when you failed, making you associate mistakes with shame. Now decide, mistakes are data, not disasters. Every mistake is feedback, not punishment. Practice this with small tasks first. Spill the tea, mess up a recipe, missend a harmless text, and notice nothing catastrophic happens. Step 5. Track your wins. Every day, jot down 1 to 3 moments where you acted despite fear or self-doubt. Even tiny victories count. Asked a question, spoke your mind, or tried something new. Revisiting these wins reminds your brain that you can trust yourself. Step 6. Make it a habit. Consistency beats intensity. 1 brave action daily is better than 5 heroic actions once a month. Over time, your brain rewires itself to expect courage as normal. Lightbulb pro tip. Treat these steps like a workout. Your emotional muscles get sore at first, but the more you exercise them, the stronger, freer, and more confident you feel. You tell yourself, maybe tomorrow. I'll plan properly. Need the perfect idea. The perfect confidence. You close the app. You open TikTok or YouTube. You scroll for an hour watching other people do exactly what you want to do. Confidently, freely, without overthinking. And something weird happens. You're not jealous of them. You're frustrated with yourself. Because deep down you know you could do it too. You just don't let yourself. Not because you lack talent. Not because you lack potential. Not because you lack confidence. But because you give fear too much control. You never feel ready. You never feel good enough. You keep waiting for some magical moment where suddenly confidence appears like a software update. Confidence 2.0 installed. Restart required. But that moment never comes, because confidence doesn't come first. Action does. And here's the real twist. Every time you stop yourself, every time you don't take the step, every time you silence your ideas, you're teaching your brain, my fear is right. And every time you take 1 small step, even shaky, even imperfect, you teach your brain, I can trust myself. This scene isn't about videos. It's about life. It's the daily battle between who you are and who you could be if you stop doubting yourself. Here's a fun little mental trick to lock in everything we just talked about. I call it the new father voice. Your brain still remembers your father's voice, not literally, but emotionally. That voice taught you rules about fear, mistakes, and approval. It's automatic and powerful. So instead of fighting it, let's replace it. Step 1. Close your eyes and imagine a supportive voice, calm, confident, and kind. It could be an idealized father, a mentor, or even your own future self. Step 2. Whenever you feel hesitation, fear, or self-doubt, imagine this voice saying, "It's okay. Try it. Even if you fail, I'm proud of you for trying. You've got this." Step 3. Pair it with a small action, sending that email, speaking your idea, posting your video, or taking that tiny risk. Over time, your brain starts rewiring the emotional associations. Fear equals old voice equals ignore. Action equals new voice equals encouragement. Soon, your nervous system begins to respond to your own permission rather than old fear patterns. Light bulb memory anchor trick. Every time you act despite fear, tap your chest lightly and say, "I got this." This tiny gesture creates a physical cue tied to courage, making your brain recall the new supportive voice instantly. It's fun, it's simple, and it turns the internal critic, the ghost of your childhood, into a cheerleader. Once this sticks, hesitation won't disappear completely, but it will lose its power over you. So here's the truth. Feeling weak, hesitant, or insecure isn't a flaw in you. It's a leftover from old rules your brain learned years ago, rules meant to keep you safe, not free. Your father didn't make you weak. He gave you a survival system that worked for childhood, but now it's outdated. The good news? You can update it. You can give yourself permission, take small risks, redefine mistakes, and slowly, steadily, retrain your brain. Confidence isn't about being fearless. It's about acting despite fear. It's about trusting yourself when the old voices try to control you. Every tiny step is proof. You can do this. You are capable. You are allowed. And here's the best part. Once you start, the weight lifts. You stop hesitating. You start acting. You start living. If this video helped you see that weakness isn't permanent and gave you a way forward, stick around. Subscribe, because we break down these self-improvement hacks in a way that actually sticks. No boring lectures, just real strategies you can use today. Remember, you're not weak. You're simply updating old programming. And every time you choose yourself, you're already winning.